Guys, welcome back to RBR, and this has been my perfect two-car solution for the past 12 months. First, to scratch the performance itch, the Porsche 992.1 GT3 Touring, finished in Porsche Racing Green metallic with those gorgeous heritage insides, made only better by the GT3 belt's rear bench, allowing me to scratch that performance itch while taking my kids and family around with me. It's been amazing. And then this GLC 300 DE, my daily car. A plug-in hybrid from Mercedes-Benz that has been an absolute revelation to me. Big battery, electric motor, 4-cylinder diesel engine, and what I think is one of the best modern Mercedes designs that they have done. So guys, I bought this car a year ago, and since then I've done 12,000 miles. And I realized two things during those 12,000 miles. Firstly, this is the best standard Mercedes-Benz that I've ever owned. And secondly, a proper plug-in hybrid like this is far superior to a pure EV as a daily, and might even be superior to a pure combustion ICE car. Now, those are two big and bold claims, but it's my job to back them up. So we're going to go through a journey today, and I'll also fill you in on the highlights of what it's been like living with this car, which is my GLC 300 DE. Now, long-term viewers will know that my previous dailies to this were the two Taycans that I had, which were both in wagon form. So I'm no stranger to living long-term and spending my own money, or losing it as it were, on an electric vehicle. And after this I had the M3 Touring and then the normal M2. So a bit of a strange mix. I lost a lot of money on all of those cars. The Taycan, for obvious reasons that we don't need to go into, and then the BMWs, because let's face it, brand new cars are so overpriced that you're just bound to lose money on them when you buy them new. And this GLC is no different in that regard. If you look at a 300 DE brand new, it starts at £62,000. A 300E starts at £59,000. That's before you add £5,000 for the AMG line premium, which is really the barest minimal spec that you should go for, and you're almost reaching £70,000. I paid less than that for my GLC 63S Coupe not that long ago. New car prices are insane. Now, I'm not insane. I'm a little weird, but I'm not insane. And like you, I like to be smart with my money, right? So I didn't buy this new. Instead, I kept an eye on the Mercedes-Benz used website because I did want to buy from a dealer for that peace of mind. And this eventually came up. It was with Mercedes-Benz World, who I bought from many times, as old viewers will remember. And it was up for £48,000, so £20,000 less than list with just 2,000 miles on the clock. It's basically brand new, so that was an absolute no-brainer for me. Such a big saving, and I can tell you now, 12,000 miles later and a year later, I'm being offered in PX literally almost the same amount for this car. And to me, this is how we all need to be buying new cars in 2025. Either wait for a great deal on the used market, because you and I dictate the price. We won't buy things until we think it's the right price, or wait for the big sale events that come, you know, close to March or September on the new registration dates, and then there's big money off new cars. Now, one big question that we must begin with is, why did I choose the GLC of all cars? Well, this is their best-selling car in their portfolio, and there's a lot of reasons for that I've come to appreciate. First one, I think, is design. This is one of the best looking new Mercedes-Benz that they've designed, because it still carries forward so much from the last predecessor, which was a great looking car, I think, even in its standard AMG line trim, not even going up to the 63. And this new one kind of builds upon that. It's a little bit bigger, but it increases the quality, whereas the old one looked under-designed in a few areas to help the AMG stand out. This one doesn't feel like that to me. It's got painted wheel arches like the GLE and the GLS above it, which helps it look even more premium. And thanks to those painted wheel arches, the car kind of sits wider on its shoulders because they are painted. And then you've got a more traditional Mercedes-Benz grille with the stars in there. Yes, the lights kind of do connect into the grille, but still traditional looking enough, I think, on the front end, including the lowest. But it all looks really nice. Got the power domes on the bonnet as well. You look at the side view is what I love about this car. With the painted arches, but then the old one, the SUV never quite looked as good as the coupe, but in this one they've really tapered off the window line on the SUV. That paired with the lights on the back, which are shared in design with the coupe, make it look that much sportier than the old one did. And that's something I've really come to appreciate, seeing this car not only standing still but on the road. It always looks very sporty to me. So I really like the light bar, that's nice. One big shame is the horrible fake exhaust on the back, but luckily Mercedes are now backtracking on that on their newer cars, so hopefully they will get rid of it on this one as well. And I love the wheels here. These were inspired by the CLS 63 of many years ago, and they now come onto a standard AMG line car. They're not the biggest or with the most spokes, but I really love them. I love the dual tone finish and that link to AMG heritage. They're just really nice. Now you guys know I'm renowned for doing little OEM plus touches in order to make my cars look a bit unique and look a bit better. But I honestly could not think of a singular thing to do to this car to improve its look. Lord forbid we start putting AMG badges and grills on it. No, I was just really happy to have it as a nice and clean, standard looking Mercedes-Benz. And I was proud of it in that way. So design was one big reason for sure, but the other reason was the tech behind this plug-in hybrid. Now what I loved about my Taycans was the low running cost of being able to charge at home and getting lots of miles versus my BMW M cars where I was just throwing fuel into them, which I don't mind for the pleasure of performance, but for a daily luxury car, when I spend fuel, I want range out of that instead. And that is where the GLC is the class leader by a long stretch. You look at it compared to the new X3 and the new Q5 plugins, which are both 2 to 3 years younger than this car. The GLC is significantly better on range. It's got a large 30 plus kilowatt battery with 25 kilowatt usable, but it gives you a massive real world 71 plus miles of just pure electric range, which is actually a game changer. And you will be shocked to know how much of my 12,000 miles were purely electric. So I will tell you that as we go out for a drive. Now it's wild at the moment. The car is showing me 80 miles range on the battery, which I've never ever seen it show me before. And it's improved recently in recent months, to be fair. I don't think that's accurate, but it still kind of shows you, the bonkers range in this battery of this car. As for charging, it's been easy at home. Got a standard 7 kilowatt charger here from Anderson, and that keeps this car nice and charged up all the time. And when that battery runs out, unlike an EV, you've still got the trusty 4-cylinder diesel engine here, good for 500 plus miles of range, despite having a smaller tank than the normal ICE version at just 49 litres. And you can't tell me with a straight face that any other pure EV could ever hope to match that range or that practicality. It just doesn't happen. Then you look at the performance of this thing, and it's no slouch either for a daily car. So as I said, we've got the large 30 kilowatt battery sitting in the back, nicely packaged. We've got the permanently synchronous electric motor sitting within the gearbox, and then we've got our 4-cylinder diesel engine. Now the diesel engine by itself gives us 200 horsepower and a load of torque because it's a diesel. And then our electric side, also powerful by itself, which it has to be when you're running electric mode, you get 135 horsepower and 450 Newton meters just by itself. Combined, 335 horsepower, which is great, and it's no slouch to 60 either. So whether it's either by themselves or combined, the performance pretty impressive in this plug-in. Now the other really important thing in a luxury car is suspension, and this is another place where the GLC takes numbers versus its rivals. While we have an updated 4-link steel suspension on the front, the rear suspension on the plug-in as standard is always the Airmatic self-leveling comfort suspension. And again, wait for the drive because that has been just a fantastic luxury feature of this car. Then the interior, which has just been absolutely fantastic. Now the interior of the new GLC is great. It's one of the best they do, but it's only good in my opinion if you get a color inside that actually contrasts with the black. If you go plain black, it's just as boring as any other car interior. And I find this with most modern interiors. So I insisted on finding something that just wasn't black. So this brown with black interior, I love. It really sets apart all the different structures in the door card, the seats, etc. It looks great. It matches the GT3 Touring at the moment, which is lovely as well. So an absolute win if you want to have a bit more excitement, a bit more luxury feel, in particularly your modern Mercedes-Benz. Please don't go black interior. Go something a bit more funky, and you'll live to appreciate it, believe me. And generally, you look at the fit and finish of this interior, it's lovely. You know, you've got soft nappa at the top, contrasting stitching. The door cards are great with the ambient lighting hiding within there. The buttons, high quality, lots of metal, lots of leather, good storage areas everywhere. Now this is just a premium car, as I said, so it hasn't got all the luxury bits. Like we haven't got a panoramic roof here. We have got ambient lighting, but it's not the extended ambient lighting like within the vents, etc. But I've not really missed all of that. Even with the sound system, which we've got the standard Mercedes-Benz one here, it's been absolutely fine. And the amount of money that you end up saving by not upgrading to those higher premium packages is just incredible, particularly with new cars. So more and more I'm looking back and saying, no, just go with the standard version. It's probably enough, and it has been in the GLC. Now, one great thing about the modern Mercedes-Benz is they have a login system with Mercedes-Benz ID. So, for example, we've got the fingerprint detector here.
Welcome back, Mr. AMG.
And it recognises you, it recognises your settings. Then you can log into other cars as well. And let's talk about MBUX. It's been absolutely brilliant. This version of it was, I think, perfect, with a screen that is not too large, with a system that is really easy to use, very familiar, and you've got a great driver zone in front of you with loads of different choices in terms of the designs that you can have. So you've got classic, sport, you've got understated, you've got the larger screens for, say, assistance, off-roading in the GLC, and then servicing. All of that is great, and you get so much good information as to your range, your consumption, energy flow, what's happening within the hybrid system itself, and then engine power, etc. It's very, very thorough in that regard, in providing you information as to what's happening with the hybrid system. And you'll see that when we're driving as well, because in the driver zone, it actually tells you very clearly when it's electric and when it's not, which not every manufacturer does, believe it or not. The other good thing is CarPlay always works, and Bluetooth always works, unlike VW Group, where it's a bit of a lottery, it's a bit hit and miss. It has cool things in here, like seasonal welcomes, like if it's autumn or it's Christmas or something special is happening at Mercedes or AMG, you'll get a welcome when you log in with a special animation, and things like that are quite cool. The other great thing was getting software updates consistently. Like a few months ago, I got an update that ChatGPT was now integrated into the voice assistant just for free. And then you can use that for general knowledge and other bits and pieces. And really, I feel like they need to shout from the top of the mountain about these things. So this is good stuff, and it's such value added to us as customers to get these free updates. There's a bunch more that came with even more features within the car, like MB Sound Drive and other stuff, and that will just update then over time in the background. And it's great that Mercedes are supporting the system and doing more and more upgrades, not just in terms of bugs, but actual features as well. The other thing is you can go into the store and buy a few more features for your car, which I know is a hit and miss thing with us, but it was quite useful for me because I haven't got driving assistance package, so I could get the distance control element in my cruise control, which has been really useful in traffic, and that's, I can't remember, it's like 10 quid a month or something like that. But I found that really useful, and now when I go to sell the car, I can just cancel it, and it's not, a big lump sum to pay for an option. Now, another great thing has been the Mercedes-Benz app, where you have widgets, whether it's for your phone or for your Apple Watch, and you derive a lot of benefits of, say, EVs, because this is a decent plug-in hybrid. So things like pre-ventilation, cooling the car on a hot day, or heating a car up on a cold day before you go out. You can do all of that in this hybrid as well. It's not just something that you'll find in an EV. Do it remotely off the app. One thing I found useful, because I'm an unorganized plonker, is I often leave the car unlocked and walk away like an idiot, and then you'll get a notification on your watch, if you paired it up to your Apple Watch, that you've buggered up and you need to lock the car. So things like that have really added to the experience. Families absolutely love the car, particularly because of how spacious and comfortable the rear is. So guys, the rear and the boot get the majority share of the increase in size of this car, and you can see so much headroom in here. It's wild. I'm 5'10", and I'm more than happy sitting back here. So much leg room as well. It really feels GLE sized back here. And the nice thing about the hybrid then is, and we'll talk about this later, but having the air suspension in the rear for your passengers is just a blessing, because it's so comfortable. It gets to those E-Class levels of comfort, which is fantastic. And again, trimmed really nicely in the rear, just like in the front. So this interior, cherry on top. Now guys, the boot, which takes the lion's share of the size increase of the new GLC, and now packaged so much better in terms of the way that the battery sits in here, so it doesn't impede on the rear space, because that's a big battery. 30 kilowatt it's a big old battery in there. And they still maintained a little cubby area where you can put your charging cables in. Yes, it's not as spacious as the standard one, but it's never impeded on our lifestyle as a family of four. So tons of space in there, and of course you've got the usual split folding ability as well. Now, like many of you, the boot is the area of the car that takes the most abuse. Like, I've got my 6-year-old's muddy wellies and all sorts of nonsense going through the boot. I'm doing the house renovation at the moment, building the RBR Batcave back there, and just the materials and the tools going through here. A carpet based mat would never have survived. Luckily, our sponsor today, they sent me this incredible mat that's been so useful during this period. And this is 3W's boot mat. And what I love about it, first of all, is how they use 3D laser scanning to match the exact shape, because it's a bit of a weird shape inside the GLC, the exact shape of the boot floor here. So it's not something that is just like you get standard kind of floor mats that you can just put in. It's not like that. It's literally tailor-made for this. And they cover a wide range of luxury and other performance SUVs as well. And because of the raised edges that you have here, it's going to catch mud and sand and dirt and dust and stones and everything. And then when it's time to clean it, you give it a good shake or give it a hose down and it's going to be back to normal again. And I love the fact that it doesn't move and it looks just absolutely built for purpose. So it's built with 3W's Vigor Mold technology, which means it's super strong and doesn't bend to either the luggage you're putting in there or like the tools or materials I've been throwing in the car. It holds its shape. And the other great thing is the material they're using, which is this Thorex material, which uses no adhesives, no chemicals, leaves no odor in the interior. So really useful, and they do it for all kinds of car brands and models. They do floor mats as well. So if you guys want a set, there's a link down below. A huge thanks to 3W for supporting the episode on the GLC today. Hopefully that was useful to you, because it's been an absolute lifesaver for me. So guys, this is a great looking Mercedes-Benz. It's got a really convincing plug-in hybrid system, which is ahead of the rivals, and the cherry on top is that interior, which is great. So on paper, even on paper, it makes so much sense, this car. I think so much so that this upcoming pure GLC electric car, Mercedes are going to have some trouble convincing us that that is worth it versus the practicality and the versatility of this car. And in fact, I think I would have issues justifying a pure ICE car to you guys in front of this one as well. Why is that? Let's go for a drive and let's talk about it. Now, doing the work that I do, one thing that I get asked all the time is, oh Raz, what are you driving these days? You know, what's your car? And I've just bored the socks off people this last year when I've gone into this whole diatribe about how obsessed I am with my GLC plug-in hybrid. And people just look at me like, are you all right, mate? But you know, this is Mercedes' bestseller, beating the C-Class now. It's their top-selling car. And after 12,000 miles, I can really understand why that is. Now, obviously, I've shared this range with you, which at the moment is showing, 78 miles, which is insane. But a lot of you will say, Raz, well, that's not actually a lot of range, is it? But the proof of the pudding here is in the eating. I haven't changed my reset since I bought this car, okay? So my reset data on here is everything since I bought the car. And the pure electric driving makes up almost 80% of my 12,000 miles, which is a massive, massive ratio considering how small the range of the battery element of this car is. Now, while yes, it's a massive figure, but what that actually represents is a huge cost saving versus just filling up traditionally on ICE. I estimate it to be at least a third, if not half, versus just filling a car up. And for me, that's represented, almost like £1,000 a month. And now I'm looking at potentially getting solar panels into the house so I can annihilate that cost altogether. And then this really, as a cost-saving measure to get you miles to do your normal stuff, has been a revelation to me. And the other great thing is that the range that I'm being quoted isn't pie in the sky. I found it to be pretty damn accurate in most scenarios as well. And it hasn't taken a hammering in the winter either, with the car still being in the low 60s in terms of pure electric range. So the range, absolute winner and really the highlight of this car. Then we move on to the driving modes themselves, and actually the clarity of the driving modes versus some other manufacturers. Particularly, I'm talking about BMW with their plug-in hybrids at the moment. With Mercedes, it is so clear with the driving modes. You come into driving modes, you've got electric, which is very clearly pure electric, and it is just pure electric. You've got hybrid, that of course uses the power from both. Sport, which then maximizes that power, or you can go into battery hold, which will shift things onto purely the combustion engine, and then you can allow the battery to stay where it is. And I've used that, say, in examples where I want to use the battery within town, but as soon as I get into a motorway or a longer road where the diesel engine will really flourish in terms of its MPG, I'll switch over to battery hold and allow the engine to take over, which is great. And then as soon as I'm back into an urban environment, I can switch it back into electric, and then that element of the car does that side much better. That's a vast contrast to BMW, where it's not very clear, or you can't really tell it to go into pure electric in the plugins. You can put in the settings that you prefer to be when it's possible, but it's not just a pure electric mode like this car shows you. And the other thing is, it is so clear on the driver zone when you're using battery power and when you're using combustion. In the rev counter here, you've got on the left-hand side your power meter and charge meter for the electric side, and on the right side your traditional rev counter. And it's so easy to read and understand. Similarly with my consumption meter in the middle, it's the same thing. You've got your ICE consumption on the left and your electric one on the right. So when you're trying to drive a bit more economical, you can look at those and you get a very clear reading. Again, even in the middle screen, lots of information about the hybrid system when you're recouping it. So all of that is great. It's very clear what's happening with which part of the car, and I think that is so important when you come to things like plug-in hybrids. As the driver, you need to know what's going on and what's being used. The other great thing about the Mercedes hybrid system is the use of the paddles for recuperation. Now we've got 4 different recuperation stages. I tend to use D+ most, which is just coasting. So it's very traditional ICE combustion car feel, and I like using that because I like to maximize how much I'm driving with coasting. But you can come down into D, which adds a bit of recuperation. You've got D-, which is the strongest form of recuperation. It's not quite one pedal driving, but it's close. And then you can then hold the button for D Auto, and then that will look at navigation or how far the car is in front of you, and then do recuperation based on that, which is quite a smart way of doing it as well. Now, in electric mode, which, as I've said, has been 80% of me driving this car, this has been a fantastic luxury Mercedes-Benz. First of all, because of just the smoothness of operation of the electric side of this. We're talking 135 horsepower, which is not a lot, 450 Newton meters, but in reality, in actual usage, there's barely ever a time when I need to kick down and rely on the combustion engine. It hasn't happened. It's more than enough. Yes, you haven't got that initial, that's a lie actually, you do have the initial jolt of acceleration because you get that entire amount straight away. So it feels akin to, you know, a small diesel engine in a similar car anyway. And then you look at the top speed, which is like 140 kilometers an hour in pure electric mode, or over 80 miles an hour. So it's not even a topic in the UK, right? And unlike those small diesel engines, which will have clunky gearboxes, which, you know, this one isn't the best in the world when you go into the ICE side of things. When you're in electric, you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about, you know, an unresponsive engine or a clunky gearbox. It just works perfectly because that EV side of it is very good, as we know. Then the other side of the comfort side of this electric element is the quiet. There's no engine noise, there's no revs building up, there's no gnarly diesel engine or, you know, noises coming from a horrible 4-pot. It is quiet and it is comfortable, as, you know, as it should be, because EVs are so good as luxury cars, aren't they? How many times have you and I said that? We look at the Rolls-Royce Spectre, so suited to that format, and every other luxury EV that we've tried so far, like the i7, it's so good, you know, for that quiet element. Then where the GLC takes it further in this hybrid is we've got the air suspension in the back, which, like I said, for the rear passengers has been brilliant. For me as the driver, it's been fantastic. It adds that element of like E-Class comfort in this, and that's a standard thing in the plug-in hybrid, again beating the rivals. So electric mode as a luxury car has been fantastic. Now if we switch into B, which is battery hold mode, and we're going to go then straight into the combustion engine, as you'll see on our rev counter. Now obviously this is nowhere near silky smooth as the electric side of it, but being a small 4-pot diesel engine, it hasn't been horrible and loud either. It's been really actually quite decent. The miles per gallon surprisingly still huge, considering that this is a heavier car, and the fact that I'm able to switch between the electric side and the engine has really helped that element as well. So I'm getting massive range out of this when the two things are combined together. And like I said, there's no EV out there that can really match the fluidity and the flexibility that this type of system gives you. And having that, you know, that peace of mind that I've got the diesel engine there, should I need it, you can't put a price on that. That being said, driving with the engine alone, I try to avoid it. It's a bit of a chore, the small diesel engine on this heavier car. Now, in terms of other issues that I've had, while the recuperation control is good, the actual amount of recuperation happening isn't great, because once the battery element, the range is gone, you can never really recuperate anything out of this. Now, Mercedes say that there's an electromechanical brake booster that will give you up to 100 kilowatts on hard braking, etc., but that rarely happens from what I've seen. So once that range is gone, it is gone, and that's very unlike more advanced plug-in hybrid systems like I've found in Porsche and Bentley, where yes, the range is gone, but you go into a normal driving mode and you don't even have to drive that fast. And I saw the car recuperating like 20-25% of its range just in a short amount of drive, and that would be a really great added element to this, and they need to work on the recuperation element, because even AMG do it just a lot better than this. The other thing I would say, although the quiet is great, as I always say with other EVs as well, I'd like some driving sound when I'm in EV mode, just so I know what the car is doing, just for that safety element. That would be nice if Silver Waves, like in their EVs, was playing in the background. That would be a good addition to this, I think. Now, this is not a car that I drive dynamically, it's not meant for that, but when I do need the extra power, I either go into hybrid mode, or it's very simple, you just kick down and the combustion and the electric element will work together and you'll get the power immediately. So very little thinking needing from the driver, which is good because sometimes you need the power quickly. So guys, in conclusion, this is one of the best plug-in hybrids, but also one of the best Mercedes-Benz dailies that I've ever driven. That range element, paired with the fact that you've got the combustion engine, gives you such peace of mind in terms of how far you can go, but also how much cost you're saving in reality, that I've just found it to be a winning combination. My only complaint, like I said, I'd like a better recuperation system in here and a bit more focus on making the electric side of the hybrid more like their EVs. I don't want Mercedes to go mental over EVs and ignore the plug-in hybrids. I really hope they don't do that. Other than that, the modern Mercedes, particularly in the plug-in hybrids, have been a revelation to me. I've been raving about them to everyone, and this formula is one I don't think I'm going to go back on. I'm going to maintain this for my daily car now, going in the future, and I've got one in mind from AMG actually. But my advice with these new cars, look for a deal just like I did, or wait for the big deals to come when it's near to the car registration months. Do not go in and pay that new car price, because it's just not fair at the moment. The pure GLC EV is right around the corner now in terms of being unveiled, and I think that car is really going to struggle versus this on paper, despite being newer and more advanced. And I hope that Mercedes, like I said, don't abandon their hybrid side. Rather, I hope they strengthen it, because these are really convincing cars. So guys, that's my full review of my daily GLC 300DE. I hope it's really useful to you. If it was, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe to RBR. I've got a garage update video coming soon where I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the AMG that I'm looking to get to replace this car, so do check that out. So a huge thanks to you guys as always, and I'll see you guys next time.